All right, let's just remind you about our question of the day. And we're asking you, look, today is National Day of Reconciliation. So we want to know, how can we better foster reconciliation among all race groups and promote national unity? At the agenda_SABC is where we're at. We're also taking your calls. We're opening up the lines. 078-799-4480 is the number to dial. Anonymous, back on the line with us. Happy Reconciliation Day. What's on your mind?
Happy Reconciliation Day to you too. I'm thinking that when the reconciliation needs to be cannot be left to Department of Arts and Culture alone. It needs to be in all spheres of government. Everybody, in fact, the community as well. Everybody needs to talk about how to reconcile wherever we are in our small spaces.
Yeah, I mean, that's important, isn't it? Give us some examples in terms of how we can do this. How can we better foster this greater reconciliation within our communities?
We need to start with churches. We need to start talking also as in our area, street committees, and talk about our needs and how can we do things together. Yeah. For example, nowadays, as municipalities is becoming a headache to everybody because of the services that communities need that they don't receive. For example, there are areas where we have terrible potholes. But when we talk about those things, we just talk in silos. When we go to the municipalities or whoever that needs to be servicing us, we are not talking to each other. So I'm not sure who must guide the discussion, whether it's a municipality, but the issue of reconciliation cannot be left to Department of Arts and Culture alone. It's too much for them.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah.
The municipalities must play, and all spheres of government must play a role.
What about a greater understanding of one's culture from another race group? I find far too often that if one lives in this insular community or insular world, society, I guess it breeds a greater intolerance when one doesn't know about their neighbors, for instance, of another race. You think that's important as well? And how can we do that? Yeah.
It is very important. For example, now all races are in all suburbs. So we need to talk from there. How can we meet there? People are doing in communities. There are communities where they have street committees that they organize for themselves. For example, security watch community, something that are having WhatsApp groups where they talk about safety, that this is happening in that street and that is happening in that street. I think that's the first place where we can, or Department of Arts and Culture, come to those people to say, this is established organization that they can start the discussions from.
National
not
unity.
Based on any other political platform, but just the community that have already is there existing, and start to talk about how can we reconcile. The more we talk, the more we understand each other, 100%. And we forget about race. 100%. People on the ground, they're actually starting to forget about race. It's just that we make issues out of one small negative thing that comes out.
We do appreciate your take. Interesting perspective indeed. Be well.
Thank you very much.
All right, Anonymous calling us with regards to her take on what should be done to better foster reconciliation. I understand we have Julia on the line. Julia, a very good morning to you. Happy National Day of Reconciliation.
Good morning, Brian. Happy Reconciliation Day to you too. It's Julia Sibanda here in Cape Town. Brian, what I think is we need to learn to forgive each other, so that we can all reconcile. You know, we need to forget about the past. We need to move forward. South Africa at the moment, everybody's playing the blaming game. This one is blaming this one for corruption. This one is blaming this one. We're forgetting about the past. Let's move on. Let's all learn from each one's culture. We need to move on. We need to know how to forgive. We need to love each other so this country can excel in a better way. Because at the moment with coronavirus, we separated. We separate, you know. If today we could all get together and drive as a community at some park, but we can't do that because of coronavirus. We need to learn to forgive. We don't know how to
I hear you. I hear you with regards to forgiveness. Very, very important. You might get some pushback from people saying we can't forget about the past. It's the past that shaped the present.
We cannot
and
hold
going into the
hatred.
future.
We cannot hold hatred for the rest of our lives.
Correct.
It won't take us anywhere in life. So one, I'm a Zulu girl, and I've been brought up in this Afrikaans, of the Afrikaans world. I take Afrikaans as my first language now because it brought me so far in life. And I don't regret my mom putting me in Afrikaans school. I don't regret it. I'm thankful and I'm grateful for that woman that brought me into the Afrikaans school. And I would do the same for my kids as well. I love Afrikaans. It is totaal lief om Afrikaans te praat. But I'm Zulu. I am plain Zulu. So we need to learn to leave the past behind so that we can reconcile. I'm the only black person working in a Afrikaans white company because I don't hold my race or my culture wherever I'm going. I reconcile. How can I say? I talk to people, different people, each and every day. What I'm saying here is we need to learn to forgive. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will hurt, but to forgive so that we can reconcile will bring us far in this country. That's what I'm saying. Reconciliation Day means that forgiveness, let's all get together, let's all celebrate so that this country can be a better place for everyone.
Interesting
and,
take indeed, yeah. Julia,
and to all the men out there, they must learn to stand strong. Women violence, children abuse must stop now.
Yeah.
They must learn to just let go of the anger they have inside them.
All
Thank you, Blaine. You must have a wonderful day. And thank you for a brilliant show every morning at 9 o'clock.
At you as well, to all the greatest to you and your family as well.
Thank
all
you
right,
so much.
Thank you very much indeed. 10 o'clock, let's get one more call in. Should we get one more call? Let's get Brian from the Northern Cape. Brian, a very good morning to you. Happy Reconciliation Day. What's on your mind?
Good morning. Happy Reconciliation to you and the crew as well. What's on my mind? Look, I think our leaders in Parliament must lead with example. When they preach something to us, we have to follow. The way they shout and scream on each other in Parliament, is this the example they set of reconciliation for us to follow? No, I don't think so. And if they can maybe be more civil to one another, the rest of South Africa who look up to them can follow suit. And as for us as men, we start to teach our children that, more especially the boys, respect a girl child. It starts at home and it starts from the schools. That's where it all begins. Charity begins at home after all.
100%. And, you know, with regards to the strong theme coursing through this year's Reconciliation Day being, gender-based violence, the issue, pernicious scourge of gender-based violence, very much in the minds of many. This thing of boys will be boys should be done away with, isn't it, Brian?
I think it all begins at home. We as men must lead with example for our boy child, for them to know that if you respect your wife at home, your child look up to you and say, oh, that's the way one has to treat a girl, and in future treat his wife or his girlfriend. Important indeed. I can't agree with you more. Brian, we thank you very much indeed for your call. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
All right. Thank you. All right, let's go to Bloom now. Tiamo is on the line. Very good morning to you. Happy Reconciliation Day.
Hello. Thank you very much. Happy Reconciliation Day to you too.
What do you think, Tiamo, in terms of how we can better foster greater reconciliation in South Africa among our communities?
First of all, we cannot talk about reconciliation without addressing the land issue. We definitely cannot reconcile. I mean, you can look at the events from the past few months now of the Senegal scene and the issue of break and fail. There's still a racial divide. So we cannot address reconciliation without talking and addressing the issue of landlessness among black people and the inequality. The gap is still far, way. And I mean, we can even take it as far as a questioning whether there was ever conciliation was to reconcile. It's a matter of different perspectives. Without dwelling much into it.
What's your perspective? What's your take on it?
what I'd say is that definitely the amendment of Section 25 needs to be speeded up, and that is us addressing reconciliation. If ever we can speed up that, and if ever we get the state can start to make land available to black people, so that black people can be economically emancipated, then we can talk about the liberation of black people. Then we can talk about us occupying the same space as black and white people, maybe in agriculture, maybe in the corporate world, maybe in a boardroom, in offices. Because as it is now, black people are only working for white people, and therefore we cannot reconcile as long as we are still slaves to white people. So it's very, 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 it entrenches very deep in the society. So reconciliation is very, very, very far from us. I don't want to lie.
It's a dynamic concept, isn't it? There's so many things that go into play here when we talk about reconciliation. You mentioned the land issue as an important aspect of this, economics as well, understanding the next person's culture, so varied aspects that will, I guess, get us ultimately to where we want to be. Tiamo, thank you very much indeed for your call. Be well.
Yeah, thank you very much. You have a good day.
All right, you too as well. Blessings to you and the family. Tiamo there from the Free State. All right, so let's take a look at some of your tweets with regards to our question of the day. How can we better foster greater reconciliation? On a day like this, I guess it helps us to reflect on where we come from and where we're going to. At the agenda _SABC. Lachasa, hello everyone, including viewers. No reconciliation without the land. It's something that Tiamo was talking about as well. Nazir Krutbom, there's no reconciliation without justice. Justice is the return of the land to its rightful owners, the natives of this land. Mzovukile says the injustices of the past must be corrected by making sure that every race of this country has an access to the wealth of this country. All right. Thank you very much indeed.